Hello and welcome to my strength and intellect playthrough. This is Witcher. So I decided I would do a playthrough because A, it's fun, and B, I want to share what knowledge I have of playthroughs and to try and help new players as well as even people who have played the game before. In this playthrough I'm going to be doing some more advanced things that you might not notice right away. Also some things that might be difficult for new players, but if you feel you're up to the challenge, you can totally try it. So I do invite you to try and do some of the things I do in this playthrough. This first section is basically a basic setup for the build I'm doing. It's going to be a basic beginning setup, and trust me, following these steps will make your character ridiculous. Like, you will not regret spending the time doing what I'm doing. This video is preparation and just running around doing a couple key things that I find important. So right here I'm just creating my character. As you can see, I'm starting with the sorcerer and the master key. For new players, if you don't know what the master key is, it's a key that can unlock virtually every key. It's basically a master key for every single door in the game. There are a few exceptions, like there's a depths key that you need to get, and there's also a key that you need to get to the depths, and then there's the residence key to unlock the sorcerer trainer. But this is one of the best starting gifts you can do in general. So I would definitely recommend it for new players, and actually the thief starts with it. So I would recommend, actually, if you're going to start with a thief, I would probably run black fire bombs. And actually you can run a strength build off of a thief, because if you really wanted to, you could use the black fire bombs to kill the boss the first time you meet him, because you're supposed to run away from him the second time, and then you get the hammer, and you can utilize that on a strength character. So here I didn't really want to waste any time. I decided I'd just go by. You see the stray demon on the side there. We'll go and kill him later. And I didn't really want to waste any time. I just definitely wanted to get through this as fast as I could. I'm no speedrunner. I'm definitely not very fast at this. Speedrunners would probably be ashamed at my speed. I don't even bother with the bonfires because I usually don't need them. I remember the first time I played this game, I actually had difficulty on this boss. I don't think I died, but I had difficulty, and I just dropped that sword because it's useless. The only use you could ever have for it is A, if you're trolling someone with a broken sword, or B, I suppose, if you wanted to make the Artorias sword, or I suppose that is really all I can think of for that item, but I just drop it to get rid of some inventory space. But you can feed it to Framp for like 50 souls if you really feel like it. But I don't see it necessary. So this guy's just running away, and I try and get the backstab, but he like whips, but I don't know. I probably should have locked on, but it doesn't matter. I get him there with the dagger. Dagger's really quick. I really love the dagger as a weapon, actually. Even though it's not very powerful, the bandit dagger I definitely prefer because it bleeds and it has a higher critical modifier. So watch out for that boulder, new players, and even old players that have been playing this game for a while. I have actually had that boulder hit me. It pisses me off every time. And here we have Oscar. And Oscar, unfortunately for him, it looks like he got punched through the ceiling. He got falcon punch by the boss here, so I feel kind of bad for him. And that's why he dies, because he just gets punched through the roof. And that's actually Oscar who drops you the key in the beginning if you watch the cinematic. And he's pretty much, I would say he's definitely a nice guy until you return, and then he's not so much a nice guy. So I go ahead and I equip my catalyst in this hand, which I thought was a good idea. On most of my mage builds, I equip it in that hand, but I think I switch it up here. And I could blind you all with my parrying skills against hollows, but I didn't really think it was necessary. I figured, why not just poke them? So I go around and I come up and I tighten this guy up with a backstab because he's shooting arrows at me, and I don't want to take an arrow to the knee. So I just S this up quick. I switched the catalyst here, and I don't know what that noise was. Was he like hitting something? I've never heard him make that noise. That's weird. But I switched catalyst to my right hand so I can utilize my shield while I have it, and I go ahead and I get the plunging attack. And I would recommend for all new players doing a jumping attack and locking on. That way you'll have a smaller likelihood of missing. And I roll back there, and I get a couple cheeky hits on him, and then I just shoot some soul spears at him. And as a sorcerer, this guy is pretty much a joke. But in this playthrough, you're all going to say, oh god, another sorcerer playthrough. Well, guys, I'm going to try and keep it interesting by also including strength weapons. Like, I will use sorcery where it's appropriate, but I definitely want to use strength weapons because this is one of the hybrids I feel I want to do for PvP. Many people choose dexterity and intellect builds for the extra casting speed, but I don't. I'd say I don't value casting as much as melee, so in general, this will be a strength build, so it definitely won't have the great casting speed, so I won't be able to cast as many spells. It'll be kind of a limitation, but at the same time, I think it'll be a fun build to try out, especially with some of the weapons I have planned to actually use. And I think Crystal Magic Weapon will go really well with some of the strength weapons, and I'm going to use some of the faster strength weapons, but we'll have to see which ones I use exactly. I have some ideas right now, but nothing's set in stone. So guys, you're going to see me do some weird things here. So I grab the humanity there, and I sit down at the bonfire, and I decide to level up. And you see, I'm grabbing dexterity here, and you'll see why here shortly, veteran players, but I will explain it to players who are new when we get down there. Newer players, if you don't know, if you come down here, you can actually get a shortcut, which pretty much skips the first boss of the game, which is the Taurus Demon. You can come down here, and you can actually run by a couple of dragons and a Black Knight, and you can go up through the chapel. So that's where I'm headed right now. I'm heading to a shortcut. I'm popping these humanity. I'm sure some of the more seasoned players will understand, but humanity actually increases my drop rate, so that's why I'm utilizing it. And I actually thought I pressed the button there. I think I go back for it. Instead of running off there, I go ahead and I get the soul. Try not to miss that, guys. It's definitely useful. I think it's worth like 800 souls, so that's useful. And I come back up here and I press the button because I feel like I am formulating how I'm going to do this in my head, and I feel like if I leave it down, I'm going to end up falling down and dying or something. So I go ahead and I put that back up. So we just passed through the new Londo Ruins. I wouldn't recommend going into there, newer players or even veteran players, because A, you've got a dagger, and B, those ghosts are really difficult anyways, and you need transient curses, which there are 2 by the entrance, which I'll show you later. We're coming up here on this undead dragon. I wouldn't recommend grabbing the 2 items in between his legs. Unless you're running a faith build, it's a great opportunity if you're running a faith build, because you can just grab that. Plus, it's not a bad idea for really any build, because then you can kill the skeletons permanently in the catacombs, because it makes it easier. But I'm just grabbing the soul here. I'm not going to bother with the stuff in between his claws, because I don't feel like being one-shotted. Because that claw swipe, as probably some players know, definitely hurts. But there is actually a little ledge you can go up there. I actually learned that in the top 10 things you didn't know, the 4th one this week, and that actually kind of blew my mind. And also, right behind that blue drake there's a cave, and I actually never noticed that, because every time I come through here, I am just pelting for my life, because I'm on a new character, and I really don't have the time. And when I'm coming through here on a high character, usually I'm just farming dragon skills, or I'm going for the red tearstone ring, so I never really noticed that. I don't know why, but it does kind of blend in. It's kind of camouflage. It's a dark color, you know. So I pop my humanities off here. 2 more to get my 4 humanities for the max item discovery I can have at this point. Max item discovery is, of course, 10 soft humanities on your body. Correction. 4 humanities. You can add other items like the symbol of Erebus and the Gold Covetous Serpent Ring to increase your item discovery further. So we go ahead and we pop off these souls. I'm going to use them to level up quick, and some of you people are probably wondering, why isn't he putting some into health and stamina? That's what you're going to see next, and you're probably going to be a little confused. So I go ahead and I get up to 18 dexterity, and I can tell some people are seeing what I'm doing here, but I don't want to ruin it quite yet. So we're going to run out here. This guy is kind of nasty, and you can parry him and backstab him, which is fairly easy, but I wanted to try something. I'd never done it before. If you actually come right up here, if you like go right up the side here and you stand right by this cliff, you can get him to like jump off the side, and I try that, and that happens. Yep, MLG Pro, but he jumps after me, and I get what I want. I did lose the souls. I think he drops 2,000 souls. But I'm not going to cry over the souls, because I got a Black Knight Halberd, and that is what I'm there for. That's what I put the 18 dexterity in, and I'm going into the strength next, because that will be a strength weapon I'll probably be using for a chunk of this playthrough, not the entire one. But you actually can, I believe with the sorcerer build, you are level 23 when you can wield it two-handed, so you need 18 dexterity and 18 dexterity and 22 strength two-handed. And it's definitely a powerful weapon. So I would definitely recommend, and actually right up there, if you continue forward, that's actually the Berg, and Havel's right in there, so you can go kill Havel if you feel like it. But I will not be killing Havel because I don't feel like poking him with my punny dagger. So up here, a lot of people miss this item, but I would definitely recommend getting it. It comes in handy, especially in New Londo Ruins. Some people will know what I'm talking about because there's a NPC that's kind of a pain in the butt to get to, and he has a key that you need. So usually I utilize that bow and arrow to shoot him, and usually it's enough arrows to finish him off because those feathered arrows are definitely a substantial source of damage. And some people call these crystal geckos. I don't know why. I always thought that was kind of funny, but I always just call them crystal lizards. They're pretty funny. And I always wondered what that stone is in their back. Like, it looks a lot like Titanite, like twinkling Titanite, but I don't know. So you just did a couple somersaults there. I got lucky. I got myself my 2 twinkling Titanite, which is what I was going for, and then I also got my chunk there. 1 regular chunk, which is definitely nice. And I switched to the grass shield here because I realized I was standing there and I was like running out of stamina. I was like, I think I should probably equip that because that is a much better shield. Because it gives you extra stamina regeneration for people who don't know. Plus, a lot of people use it in PvP builds because it's just a great shield in general. Almost every speedrunner uses it. I don't know a speedrunner that doesn't. Well, there might be some special instances where they use the crest shield for the additional magic defense, I think. But aside from that, most people use the crest shield. And this guy's he's a hard ass. I don't even mess with him at this stage, especially on a sorcerer. Maybe if I had like a bleed weapon, if I had a dagger, the bandit dagger, I could probably take him down because you can just bleed him out. And that is Andre there. We're not going to talk to him right now because we're just trying to get to Firelink as fast as we can. And you just come up here and you sit at this bonfire. It's nice because it gives you 10 flasks for whatever. And this next part is just basically just running through a couple of enemies to the elevator and activating it. So you can have it open in case you feel like going and upgrading a weapon before you kill the first boss, or in case you feel like going and getting a jester, or if you want to skip the first boss entirely. So I'm just going to run through the chapel here. And actually inside the chapel there's a Knight of Bernecki on my right when I enter it, and there's a Firekeeper soul, but I decided not to get it because I'm like, screw it, I'll get it later. And just a little hint, guys, to speed things up if you're doing this, you can come up here and there's a couple items. Actually, one of them I miss and I come back for it, but definitely useful. You flip across here and you run up here, and it's kind of a hard one to make. You can make it medium rolling or fat rolling. I'm pretty sure you can make it all. And you see that item that was off to the corner there? I missed that one. And I do go back for it, but I do kind of miss it because I'm not paying attention really. And you can just sprint across here and just jump. And actually, my path was a little erratic. I didn't really have a plan of where I was going exactly, but I was just trying to keep my path steady and just trying to get everything that I needed as fast as I can. Grabbing them fire bombs, and actually, those fire bombs are really helpful, especially paired with the black fire bombs. There's a Black Knight in the Undead Burg, and he's definitely a difficult enemy, and if you can't parry or backstab him, one really useful thing is you can go up on a roof and you aggro him and run up the ladder onto the roof. But I'd recommend killing the fire bombers up there first, and actually he'll stand right below you and you can just firebomb him to death, and if he's not dead, you can usually just do a plunge attack because he's standing underneath you. And the black fire bombs will do a lot more damage, but you can kill him with them. It's pretty easy. Walking into them pillars like a boss. And if there's like gaps in the audio, like where it's completely dead silent, it's because I'm muting my mic to take a drink or something, because my mouth definitely gets dry, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a sore throat, actually. I don't know why. I didn't sleep very well last night, which doesn't help my commentating skills very well. But, you know what? I'm feeling well enough to do this, so why not? And I felt well enough to start my playthrough today, because I thought today is a perfect opportunity to do this. And he jumped down here, and this is the secret catch. A lot of people, I suppose, cache, I don't know, however you want to pronounce it. And this is awesome. This is great. You can actually run down there before you activate the elevator. Most people do that because they see a hole and they're like, what's down here? And some people completely ignore it. And actually, really great items. You get the Morningstar, which is great for fighting Havel and bleeding him out. Homeward Bones, which I'll use later, which is awesome. Cracked Red Eye Orbs. I wonder why Patris has those under there. He sounds like a shady bastard. And Lloyd's Talismans to stop people from Essing. There's also a second use for those, in case people didn't know. You can throw them at Mimics, and the Mimics will actually open and give you their loot freely. It's awesome. And I let the door hit me on the ass when I was leaving, and the skeletons definitely got me there. Just a little tap. Running. This is just kind of errands. We'll actually get to more combat. Some of you guys are probably like, why is he doing this? This is so boring. But trust me, you'll thank me if you follow this. If you follow this. And I probably should have stopped by, like later, you'll see, probably should have stopped by Anastasia there. Because actually, now we are going for the Firekeeper Souls, the S-Stock, and the Transient Curses down here. And this is definitely a useful item. For people who don't know what a Firekeeper Soul is, it buffs your flask to +1, or it basically just adds +1, which increases the strength of your flask and its healing power. And also, if you really, really feel like it, I would not recommend this unless for some reason you're on like New Game Plus, whatever, and you happen to have a bunch of extra ones, you can pop them for 6 humanity. Which actually, one time my friend accidentally did that because he didn't know, and he was so sad when I told him he could have upgraded his Estus Flask. He literally burned the first 2 in the game on his first character. I felt bad for him. And this is actually the first official blacksmith and mage trainer, like, close to you. And I don't know why I was slipping around here. I think my controller was being a little finicky. But he sells spells, and I was going to pop some souls and get his spells, but A, I don't think I had enough, and B, Heavy Soul Spear is good, but I can just wait and get it from Griggs later. Especially since I'll have that halberd up and ready here soon. So you run down here, and the S-Stock is right to your right if you didn't see me grab it, and the Transient Curses are right in that vase. So usually I just sprint and I jump on top of it, but sometimes you hit that dude, which isn't a big deal because they're pretty weak hollows. You can usually kill them before they can stand. So one of the things about this run right here is you really need to have Homeward Bones if you have soft humanity on you, because you want to keep those soft humanity. But if you can do it right at the beginning. As soon as you get to Firelink and you spend your souls, you can run down here and get it quick and suicide run it. But I personally just like to run down here and Homeward Bone out. And this was kind of weird here. You have to manage your stamina really well, otherwise you'll get clipped. And that range, like that ghost's range, was really crazy. That ghost had ghost range. That was just... I'm so punny today, and they're not even funny. I'm not... That rhymed. Curses. Anyways, yeah, you can grab that, and that's your first Firekeeper Soul. And in this part of the video, I don't go down and upgrade the flask, but I will do that in the next section of the playthrough, I believe. So, I will show that, and then we will be heading up into the Berg. And we will be burning through there, getting some souls, maybe even attempting Havel. We'll see what happens. On equipping that stuff. And I go ahead and I equip these souls here. They actually don't give me as much as I thought they would. Which kind of made me sad, you know. You know, the sadness. And actually, that Crestfallen Warrior, if you have the parrying skills and the backstab skills, you can kill him and he's worth 1,000 souls. So if you definitely have the skill, I'd recommend that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first part of my strength and intellect playthrough This is Witcher out. Please subscribe, like, and favorite. It helps me more than you can imagine. Peace out.